Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Naturally Mar. Today we're going to be reviewing Put a Ring on It Season 2, Episode 7. Now you know, as usual, please hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button and please hit that notification bell so you can get those instant alerts when I drop a video. Let's get started. So this starts off with Sean agreeing to go on a second date. And Alexia is only not going on another date. Darian is going. Alexia this time is the only one not going to be going on a date. Darian is going to get closure and everybody else is on repeat dates. Dr. Nicole tells them to make sure they examine their vision of marriage and do their visions align. So we see that Sean feels that the session was confusing as he's talking to LaRonda, and that LaRonda understands what Dr. Nicole was trying to tell him. We know that it's their first relationship where he actually hasn't cheated, and she feels that he's scared to see what could possibly be with the dates. And, he's scared about passing the test. And LaRonda's basically like, you can give me the test anytime and I can pass every single time. So now we get to see Sean's date with Tari. And when they sit down to eat, she asks him, what do you like to eat? And he's like, oh, that's a loaded question. No, it's not a loaded question. Your mind is just in the gutter. She just wants to know what you like to eat, what food you like to eat. Now, he did ask her why she agreed to do this, and she said she joined the experience because at least she knows, at least as she's going on a date, she knows that this person is already in a relationship up front. Then, like in the real world, if she's going on a date, she might not know that this person has somebody else until much later. Sean says he's over the dating, and he feels like he only wants to date LaRonda. Okay. All right. So now we see Eric and Jessica. Eric comes down all extra happy and says that he just needs to get out of the house. And Jessica's like, oh, so you need to get away from me is what you're saying? So when Leilani arrives, Jessica lets her in, and, they sit down and chat, and, she finds out that Leilani is a skin therapist, and Jessica's like, oh, so we can, book like a couple's facial. And Leilani was like, well, I can do his facial and he can book your appointment. Now, Jessica says, I'll book it as I do everything. Whatever. So Jessica then decides to pour them all a shot and says, you guys can have a drink out of me, because the shot glasses had a picture of Jessica on it. Like, I'm not too sure, like this pettiness, and it's kind of foolish. I do know that Leilani did say that, to Eric, oh, you didn't tell me that she was so beautiful, and Jessica's like, yeah, so you didn't tell her I was beautiful? So what were you talking about? Jessica was being all kinds of petty, but girl, just work on your relationship. And then they leave. Ugh. Now we see Alexia and Darian. Darian is trying to make it seem that he cut off Kai only because him and Alexia are good now. He said he will marry her if she wants it. Happy wife, happy life. No. You'll just end up in divorce that way. It's not because you don't want the marriage. It's not just because she wants it. You have to want it too. He said that he has not had any really good examples of a good marriage. And this is like the first time that the two of them have even spoke about marriage or their views on marriage. And she feels that good now, but she won't later. Alexia will not feel good about their relationship later. Darian wants a baby now. Why? To trap her? No, Alexia, do not have a baby with this man. Do not do it. Jessica meets up with Dr. Nicole to talk about the issue with her trusting. And, she said she does have her guard up, and Eric doesn't make her feel comfortable to even let it down. She claims that she was bullied growing up, which affected her in adulthood. Dr. Nicole basically lets her know that, both of them are marrying each other's behavior. All this tit for tat is not helping. And the one thing she says, the great thing about armor is it can protect you, however, can protect you from the bad, but it also doesn't let anything good in either. So then we see Eric and Lalani again. I understand. They left when it was daylight and now it's nighttime. So what happened here? Where did you guys go from earlier to now? So Lalani says that Eric asks her if everything was okay. And Lalani says that she doesn't pay attention to pettiness. Eric acts like he doesn't know why Jessica was so curious about Lalani. You spoke. It's how you spoke about her. You spoke so positively about Lalani. That is why Jessica was curious to see who this woman is. Throughout their date, Lalani was very touchy-feely on his arm, and he was being very flirtatious during their dinner. All right, so Dr. Nicole, I think it's the next day, Dr. Nicole meets up with all the men. And, Sean says, they're starting to have more difficult conversations and bringing their problems to light. And, Dr. Nicole says, well, relationships are for grown folk. And she says to them, you have to manage yourself first. They bring up the term of, women saying, man up. And Dr. Nicole says, well, if a woman is telling you that, that's inappropriate. And usually it's based on something that the other person is feeling. And, Eric says that most of their problems are probably because of him. Interesting. But they were saying that, boys are taught in society not to feel, so they choose to sabotage. And Jerian says that Alexia says if they don't get married after this process that she's done. And he seems to feel that it's unfair. Listen, he seems to feel that it's unfair for Alexia to throw away what they have. Dr. Nicole says, no, Alexia has a choice to walk away. It doesn't make sense to continue on that treadmill, the same circle over and over again. It's not logical. Darren comes to the realization that he's been wasting Alexia's time. And, Dr. Nicole is basically telling him, you need to figure out do you have what it takes, or the reason why you're stuck is because this relationship isn't it. And, she basically gets in his tail and says he doesn't want to own that it's his own personal issues why he won't ask Alexia to marry him. It has nothing to do with Alexia. And, after 14 years, what person in your life wants to have to fight with you to see their worth? Ah, boy, this relationship doesn't seem like it's going to last. Then we get to the good part of this episode. We see Darian meet up with Kai. And when they meet, I think he wanted to go in for a hug and she just gave him a handshake, basically, because he's ghosted her for 10 days now. So Darian tells Kai that he was quiet because he was working on his relationship with Alexia. Now, of course, Kai is upset because he ghosted her. And it's obvious that Darian was in communication with Kai off the show. Like while they weren't taping the show, it seems like they were in communication. And he was telling her things on the side. He must have been telling her that he's going to be with her. One thing Kai's going to do, though, is when she goes on a date, she is going to eat her food and have her drinks. I don't blame you. Now, she asks Darian, so did you tell Alexia about the time that we spent together? Did you tell her, Darian? And Darian's like, well, no, he didn't tell her because it wouldn't have helped his relationship with Alexia. And, Kyle was really like, well, if you were concerned about my feelings, then he would have contacted her. And, Darian said that if he didn't care, he wouldn't have asked her on this date. No, Darian, you were forced to get closure. Dr. Nicole said you have to get closure. Or else you would have continued to ghost Kai. Like, you wouldn't have called her. You would have just continued to fake that your relationship is good with Alexia. Now, Kai was just like, you're more worried about Alexia finding out about us. But you weren't worried when you slept with me. Boy, Kai was going to make sure she called out Darian for cheating on Alexia. She's like, were you just caught up that we had great sex? Darian couldn't say anything at all. His hands were just like this, as if he was praying that she wasn't going to say anything. Nope. It's out now. And if you don't tell Alexia, she is going to see the TV show. And then what? And Kai says, cheers to closure. And this ends the episode. Boy, if Alexia takes back Darian after this, I don't know. Like, I've lost all hope for her at this point. I don't know. We'll see what she does. Anyhow, this ends the episode and the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers to closure.